Hello everyone and welcome to a Macho Future video. Just as a quick intro to what this channel is all about, it's February of 2022 at the moment, and even though electric vehicles, renewable energy, solar panels are somewhat more than before in the news reports and media and headlines, I've lately come to realize that there's still a huge chunk of the population that doesn't believe that we will eventually have to transition to renewable energy. And I basically got this from my friends and my family and my group of people that basically told me to stop talking about this because they're not that interested in it, which is fine, obviously, to each their own. But the point I'm trying to make and why this channel is here and why this first video is here is that there's still a mass of people that, through no fault of their own, are just misinformed about what is happening and the speed at which it's happening in the current economy, policy, making decisions, and in trade today in 2022. So this is why I'm here. This is what I'm going to help you guys understand for those that want to spend some time with me. And thank you for joining me, by the way. Really appreciate it. So the first thing to discuss today is something that may have crossed your radar if you're keeping up on the news and the social media updates on energy and electric vehicles and such. And that is the crazy, weird relationship between the current US Biden administration in the United States and the company Tesla, which is basically become almost a joke, this relationship and the unusual nature of it. So if you haven't heard, basically what the breakdown of this is that Joe Biden and his Democratic Party and refuses to even acknowledge the existence of the company. Now, obviously, this is a political move because he is trying to show to his United Workers Union that is basically supported the Democratic Party, has supported them for many, many decades. He's trying to basically say, look, it's all about you guys. No one else matters in this fight as far as the government is concerned. You are the leaders. You're the policy drivers. We'll be looking to you for everything. And by you, I mean unionized workers that usually are found in Detroit, in Michigan, and of course working for GM, Ford, and to a degree in Stellantis, which is formerly Dodge, Chrysler. So the reason why this is news is because today, just now actually, a news story came out where a representative from the Democratic Party is planning to reach out to Elon Musk and Tesla because they are in dire need of help to see what they can do in solving the chip shortage, that has been plaguing the legacy autos and everybody making autos and other electronics for the last year, right? Because of the huge demand that cannot be met at the time because of just the limited supply of these chips that go into anything from lowering your seat in your car to controlling the climate controls, basically things that we take for granted, but they have to be there if we want that magic touch on and off and up and down, low, high, low control over the mechanism. So the absurdity of the situation, as you can see, is that a member of the Biden administration is attempting to contact Mr. Musk to get help with something that will eventually influence the the unionized workers and GM and Ford and many other legacy automakers. But you can see how funny that looks, or embarrassing, when the same administration refuses to acknowledge the existence of the leader in this space. And the reason that they're contacting Mr. Musk is because, as much as Tesla has also battled chip shortages, and they had to pivot and make decisions that were uncomfortable, they seem to have done it in a very efficient way, because they have delivered a record number of vehicles in 2021, just over 930,000. And their run rate now is well over 1 million. And that's not even including the new factories that are coming online this year in Berlin and in Austin. So obviously he is the man to talk to about this, because apparently this chip shortage issue is not going away, and it's a crucial part of the manufacturing process. Because, as you know, you can have the best product out there, fantastic vehicle or some other machine, but if it's missing 2 or 3 components, you can't ship it out until they get there, you know? And that's the difficulty, part of the difficulty in manufacturing. It's easy to make a prototype and to bring it to a show, a trade show, or some kind of some kind of latest and greatest, technology show or trade fair. But it's a totally different ball of wax when you're trying to mass manufacture that same product, right? So what I'm talking about here is that whether they like it or not, at the White House, they're going to have to acknowledge the work that Tesla is doing, and not just Tesla, but Tesla is doing today to maneuver the chip shortage situation and to ask for help, as they're doing. Because if they do not, the bailouts of 2008 of GM and Stellantis, back then it was Dodge, will be replicated, basically. And no one wants that, right? No one wants companies being bailed out of taxpayer dollars when they're private companies. They have an accounting arm, right? They should know when what to do and not to stay afloat, right? So this is why I'm making this video, because perhaps some of you have not heard of Tesla and what they've done. And in my opinion, if they had it not been for Tesla and their hard work to bring EVs, electric vehicles, to the market in such a compelling way, we would still be mostly riding in hybrids and hailing them as the pinnacle of technology, right? And that would be okay, I guess. But if you look at the hybrid vehicle, it really is 1990s technology. And to be really honest, if you look at the history of vehicles, we could have had hybrids in the 60s, and we could have had pure EVs the way we have them now, with a few less features in the mid 90s. So the slowdown, because the slowdown to where we are now, only now starting to mass produce electric vehicles, was mainly responsible for the immense lobby and power by the oil and gas industry, right? Because this is direct competition, not just in the engine part of manufacturing, but also the lubrication oil and gasoline and all that goes with it, right? Including the raw material extraction, right? There was a huge gravy train that was going for decades, that no one wanted disrupted, including the politicians that have arranged a lot of lobbying agreements with those companies in the meantime, right? So from the early 1900s till now. So if not for Tesla, that was hailed as a fantastic investment only by very few forward-looking people, Remember just a few years ago how everyone was saying it's going bankrupt, that the cars are not good, that it's a niche product, it's a fad, it's not gonna make it, mass production is never gonna happen, the middle class will never be able to afford these vehicles. All of that has been proven out to be nonsense. And even if you forget the stock price for a moment, if you just look at what they've been able to achieve from scratch, in other words, execute their original plan, which was to start with a very high priced, very low volume sports car, basically, electric sports car that very few people could afford, which they made 2,500 of, the Roadster. To use the revenue and profits of that vehicle sale, and to apply them to a much more mass market vehicle, the Model S, which they proceeded to do in 2012. And then from there, add the Model X, another luxury SUV, which they also achieved, right? Slight delays, of course, but they did achieve them. And it's funny, on the Model X, Elon always said that he thought that by 2020 they would stop making it because the demand would fall, and it's just not as congruent to the Tesla goal of transitioning the world to sustainable transport. Right? It's a very fancy Fabergé egg type of vehicle, yet here we are, and if you want one today, you're gonna have to wait next to 11 months for it, right? So even Elon, as smart as he is and as much as he knows, and as many products as he brings to the market, that just because he's the richest man in the world doesn't mean he knows what people want necessarily, right? That was just an example. So anyway, so here we are, when continuing from the Model X in 2017, when the short sale pressure on Tesla was immense, right? You had short sellers coming out of every investment house. There was a true moment where things looked bad. Elon was basically living in the factory in Fremont. He was personally overseeing the production of the Model 3, which was a huge deal, because this was supposed to be the car that would bring costs, the sticker price down to the average consumer and client, and eventually a lot more people could afford these very elaborate and fancy, much better for the environment vehicles. So, he did it, and they did it. This was a team effort, obviously. All the people that pulled out all these overtime hours made the Model 3 a huge success. I mean, just now in December, I believe, in Europe, I believe it was in the UK, the Tesla Model 3 sales from December, it was the number one selling vehicle, bar none. That's a crazy achievement, guys, right? You would have to admit. So, as with any endeavor that lasts decades, Tesla is about to wrap up its second decade. The founding of the company was July of 2003. We're in February of 2020. If you do something so intense and so productive and so beneficial for the society for almost 2 decades, there's no way that you can't be profitable, appreciated, and immensely valuable to that same civilization. And this is what's happening today. We're finally seeing Tesla, and not just Tesla, but I'm focusing this on Tesla because of the topic of my video, where the company is so important, so instrumental in making advancements available for other companies, and I'll go on to include software in this in a second, but that even when White House policy and lobby political efforts are very much against this company, its expertise is still sought after by said lobbyists and companies and political parties. Do you see the disconnect between reality and as the politicians see it, and the actual reality as the client that wants to go from A to B in a most safe and energy efficient way? It's huge, guys, right? So this is why I hope you understand that President Biden has, no dog in the auto fight other than votes. And the reason why I think this is a bad move on his part and his administration, and trust me, this is probably the most political video you'll see from me, because I hate politics. I'm very apolitical. I'm just slightly right of center. I think property rights are great, and people should have the right to unionize if they wish, absolutely. But the reason why this is important today, in February of 2022, is because you're clearly seeing the importance of politics and politicians overwhelm the importance of the environment, safety, efficiency, and economic growth. And nothing could be more clearly displayed here in this example that I'm citing with Tesla and the Democrats, as that chasm of relevance, economic relevance versus the political expedience, right? So finishing off, guys, I mean, to me, it's almost laughable, because I happen to know a lot about the EV sector, as you will see in my other videos on this, and I'll explain some more. But we're getting to a point, and I implore you to come back to this video in 5 years to see how accurate or not I was. But we're getting to a point in history now where there's so many drastic changes coming, having to do with technology, and luckily they're mostly all of them are deflationary. In other words, it's going to give us more value for our same dollar, right? Which is great. We always want that. That's what advancement is all about. The goal of an economy is to work less or not at all, so that you can spend your time creatively while having a roof over your head. No one starts an economic talk like that, right? Because then where are the jobs going to come from, right? But you got, if you just want jobs, then go out and dig ditches and hire some more people to fill them back in. If it's just about jobs, right? We want jobs to be productive, and what Tesla is doing, and other companies that are following in their footsteps, like Li Auto, Xpeng, Rivian. These are companies that are basically similar to Tesla, 15 years ago or 10 years ago, right? What these companies are doing is they're bringing so much value in so little time that we haven't seen this. Remember when you would go to the car dealership and you would be amazed at the fact that, like from the 70s to the 80s, that now you can open the windows with your finger? And that took close to a decade to implement, right? That used to be our expectation for improvement in vehicles and other technologies. Now these improvements are incredibly fast, and they happen over the air. And this is another thing Tesla does so well that others can't seem to match. And that all these recalls that you hear lately, Tesla recalls, it's not a recall where you as a driver and owner have to go to some Tesla service center and get some work done. These are just over-the-air updates that are easily fixable with an over-the-air update, as is your Apple iPhone or iPad, right? So the inconvenience level is next to nothing. So going back to this, guys, to finish off this topic, the other part about this that's very important, that is that the actual innovation from Tesla is not going to be electric vehicles. Yes, they will happen to be electric vehicles, but the immense innovation and profits that are coming, that are not baked into this price at all yet, the stock price, and this is not a stock buying or selling recommendation at all, this is just an opinion, and just a stream of consciousness. It's their full self-driving system. If I'll leave a link below to a video from San Francisco that should be mind-boggling to you of what it can do already, right, in its beta form. The robot program that will substitute thousands of menial, dangerous, and repetitive jobs in the economy, and the Dojo supercomputer that they are working on that will be the best in the world at crunching enormous volumes of data into very usable tidbits that most companies will die for. That is the huge potential in Tesla. The cars are just the foot in the door, and they've done a great job at it. And because they're bulky and because they're mass manufactured, and like I said before, many parts have to arrive for them to be shipped. Yeah, it was a slow process, guys. I agree. And Elon is a fantastic entrepreneur, a brilliant mind, one of the most brilliant minds in the history of humanity, in my opinion. But even he misses deadlines, right? And hey, but you know what? I prefer a person that dreams big and looks high and misses a deadline but delivers 6 months later than one that says, she's an idiot, or look at these crazy predictions. I hope he fails. And that same person doesn't do anything. Which would you rather have? 6 months late and amazing, or negative talk and nothing, right? So having said that, guys, I will be making tons of new videos on what is happening in the space, not just EVs, in solar panels, energy storage, wind, all kinds of renewable energies, where we are, where we're going, who's making the policy decisions, in what countries, what it means for us, right? The good news is, in as much as Washington, D.C. is printing money like it's running out of style, and it's incredibly inflationary, as you have no doubt noticed. All these changes that I'm talking about are incredibly deflationary. They help to help us to spend way less for what we were used to spending a lot more for. Okay, so anyway, thank you for joining me, guys. I love talking about this. This is the most exciting things that are happening right now. I'll be back with another video very shortly, and thank you for spending some time with me. Thank you for being here, and let's get on this renewable energy journey together, and yeah, talk to you soon. Thank you.